This is an esoteric decode of the New York crane collapse that happened July 26th, 2023. Crane collapse is CC33 Christ consciousness.
The crane collapse in Hell's Kitchen. We're learning more about what may have caused the crane to catch fire. This afternoon, we're also hearing from a man who watched it all unfold and recorded video. CBS News' John Diaz joins us now from the scene with more. John?
New York is crown, crane is a spine, Jacob's ladder. The fire at the top of the spine is the final stage of consciousness, baptism by fire. Hell's Kitchen. Hell is a cave, cavern, husk, shell, or save, which is the fornix. The kitchen is the cooking room. Lose the flesh, barbecue, Barbie. This is the baptism by fire.
I was kind of in shock. I didn't really know how to process it.
Listen to the words they use. Shock, jolting. These are electrical words for the lightning strike.
I was kind of in shock. I didn't really know how to process it.
Jimmy Farrington was more than just an eyewitness to New York City's latest jolting incident. He was one of the few that recorded it. A crane catching fire, then the arm of it free falling to the ground.
The arm is the bridge between hemispheres of the brain. It touched the right side, just as the electricity of the lightning bolt did in Back to the Future, because this is the finger of God touching the finger of Adam. The jolt of electricity sent to open the door to Hell's Kitchen, the fornix, the foramen.
All over 10th Avenue Wednesday morning.
A minute into recording, the entire piece just snapped off. I just don't think that people were fully prepared for it to have happen so fast.
People weren't prepared for it to happen so fast. Be prepared for it to happen suddenly. This means people were not prepared for the jolt because they did not meditate, as meditation is preparation for the Kundalini connection. This is also why his name is Jimmy James Jacob Farrington, or Faraday, as in the Faraday cage that protects one from an electromagnetic charge, because meditation is what protects you.
As the boom of the crane fell to the ground, which was 45 stories high.
45 stories is 9, or consciousness.
It collided into a residential building across the way.
Across the way. The way is the gap. Mind the gap. The way is the path of the middle pillar. I am the way, the truth, and the life.
A couple of the windows shattered and all the debris just started to fly all over the place.
Windows shattered. Shatter the illusion, break the glass, break the mirror.
12 people, including 3 firefighters, suffered only minor injuries. A high-ranking city official told CBS 2 that the preliminary cause of the 5-alarm fire may have been hydraulic fluid that leaked onto a hot plate near the engine of the crane.
Fluid is adding fuel to the fire. Fuel is the Christos oil lighting the lamp within. Added to the hot plate near the engine of the crane. The engine is the heart. There's a heart in the chest and a heart in the head. The heart in the head is the pineal gland. This is the engine, genie in the lamp, or the jinn. The name of the crane is Lama, for which I couldn't find any direct definition. However, as vowels are interchangeable, I did find lemma, which means to seize, take, grasp, or catch, and luma. Loom or lum is connected to light or lamp, luminary or star. It's also linked to lame, as in crippled, or to lumber. Lame is also lame, as in the thin plate of metal, which links back to the hot plate that started the fire. Luma is also a Sumerian god. Luma was a Mesopotamian god who could be portrayed as a warrior or as a farmer. It has been proposed that he was originally understood as the deified form of a historical king, Enatum. He belonged to the group of deities associated with Enlil. It's Sumerian in origin. Possible translation is magnificent, lush, or tall. It's also linked to cloud, to gather, and he has come. So this sounds like he will come in the clouds, as referred to Jesus. Urluma attacked Lagash and its king Enatum, managing to destroy with fire the steel of Enatum and the shrines of the gods set up beside it. So I find it very interesting how it's connected directly to destroying with fire the steel of Enatum. Anatom. The other thing I found interesting in a search I did looking for Luma and its connection to Sumer, the lyrics for an Eminem song came up. Suma, Luma, Duma, Luma, you assumin' I'm a human. What I gotta do to get it through to you, I am superhuman. It's Very weird how this is in here, and he's referring to himself as being superhuman.
Should a hot plate have been there?
That's probably not the smartest idea. It's pretty high pressure up there, the hydraulics, in order to, work at that height and to operate with the weights that it does.
Michael Shinoda is an assistant professor of civil engineering at Farmingdale College. He says once the fire started and grew, it was likely inevitable this was going to happen.
It is a very sensitive kind of equipment here. Once a fire like that gets out of control, it's look out below, because, steel is very vulnerable and susceptible to fire. It weakens very quickly.
Steel doesn't burn, and it requires 1400-degree heat to melt. So why is he lying about this? This lie is just like the lie they gave us about the Twin Towers melting due to the fire being too intense. And if steel doesn't burn, then what exactly caught fire on the crane? Steel is composed mostly of iron, which is associated with Mars in alchemy. Mars represents Adam, man with the potential to rise.
FDNY officials say it happened as workers were lifting 16 tons of concrete at a building under construction at 550 10th Avenue.
This happened at 550 10th Avenue. 55 is Omega, the head. All of this happens in your head. 10 is X. Twitter just changed its logo from a bird to an X because X is Christ, as in Christmas. Xmas. X is merging the dualities. Many have linked this event to 9/11, fire up high, falling steel, crashing into buildings, because 9/11 is Christ, IXXI. It's the collapsing of the duality realm into one, X. X is heart, Nibiru.
Officials say the crane operator tried to put out the flames himself, but it was too much. He got out just before it collapsed.
We give a lot of credit to the crane operator, but the fire overwhelmed that operator and had to exit the crane.
The crane operator was overwhelmed by the flames. He had to exit the crane. The crane operator is the one who controls the cranium, the head, the mind. The fire was too intense, just like in 9/11. The baptism by fire caused him to exit. X is it. This is the fire exit, the red exit versus the green exit of heart.
More than 200 first responders were already on their way to the fire. Part of the crew quickly worked to extinguish it from across 6 lanes of traffic as the rest evacuated surrounding buildings.
I'm afraid of it, and I always try to cross the street because I know the risk and I know the danger.
Avoid walking under that construction site. This one and I are often up and down this block, so avoid it.
He said he was afraid of it, avoided it, the construction block. The people who are afraid of ascension, afraid of the truth, afraid of Kundalini, afraid of what's to come.
We were sleeping and it felt like a bomb had gone off in the building.
This man says he was sleeping and it felt like a bomb had gone off in the building. He was sleeping, which is unconscious or not awake. Bomb is the atomic explosion in the head that comes with the Kundalini connection. He's wearing a New Order t-shirt to hint at the New World Order or the New World to come.
William Norlag says he had to evacuate his home this morning after the crane collapsed onto his building.
Don't want to live in a high-rise anymore after this.
He says he doesn't want to live in a high-rise anymore after this. Why? What does a crane have to do with living in your building? He doesn't want to live in a high-rise. Getting off the plane. He doesn't want to live here anymore, this plane of existence, because now he's awake, perhaps. It's also possible you could interpret it that he doesn't want to be on the ascension path anymore, on the high rise.
Yeah, and guys, they were inside the building when all of a sudden they heard the screams, fire, fire, and they started evacuating. They were up on the 26th floor of this current 43-story building. It's going to be 54 stories when it's done, according to the Department of Buildings Commissioner.
The building was 43 stories, which is 7 in divine intervention. It will be 54 when it's done, which is 9, or consciousness, completion. The fire was on the west side, which is the left hemisphere of the brain.
These construction workers were installing sprinkler systems for the building at the time when they heard the calls of fire and they knew what they needed to do.
They were installing sprinkler systems, which is water, fire, fire. So it's the battle of fire and water, or fire and ice, the 2 pillars of duality.
So we was working on 26 at the time.
26th floor.
Correct.
And the address here is 550 10th Avenue.
Correct. So the crane was already on fire. So once the guy came to our floor, he pulled us off the ladder.
He was pulled off the ladder or shaken off a pillar.
Just saying there's a fire, the crane is on fire, let's evacuate now. Everybody started evacuating, but calmly, because at that time it's not chaotic. So from 25 running down, I say we made it to about the 12th floor.
They made it to the 12th floor, the 12 disciples, 12 signs of the zodiac, 12 cranial nerves in the head.
The crane is burning the whole time, and then all you hear is clink, clink, and then boom. And
the way in which he describes this is very reminiscent of 9/11. People saying what floor they're on, the building shook, they ran down the stairs, heard clink, clink, boom, the atomic explosion in the head.
And the whole building shook. Total chaos.
The whole building shook like an earthquake. There's mention in the Bible of an earthquake that happens before baptism by fire.
Did you have any concept of what had happened, what the possibilities
were? All I thought was ground floor. I got to get out the building, ground floor, and the steps was gladiator. It was people pulling, pushing, falling. If you fell, you got stepped on, and you just had to fight your way back up and just keep going.
You're thinking, I've got to save my life.
All the way.
I hate to say this, but it sounds as if he's foretelling of chaos to come once everyone sees. Fight for your life. This is similar to what happened in the Poseidon adventure when people started to see and they rushed the Christmas tree in panic.
All the way. Get to the ground floor. Out this building. That's all I saw was out the building. That was my exit.
And when we get down here onto the ground floor, you guys come out onto the street, you see this just chaos unfolding.
There's emphasis on ground floor. Just like on 9/11, the World Trade Center was referred to as Ground Zero. Zero is love, source, heart. Ground is earth. Earth is an anagram for heart. Also, in order to receive the Kundalini connection, the electrical charge, as set up in the beginning of this story, one must be protected or grounded. The grounding wire is necessary to stop you from getting electrocuted.
We had been down originally because we were taking in a delivery. So once our truck left, my foreman told me, someone told me that the crane's on fire. So we went and we checked it out, and not even 2 minutes later, we seen the fire department roll up. So they closed down the street and everything like that, and we ran down to the cellar. And when we ran down there, we got rid of all the air in the pipes. So the fire department,
the sprinkler pipes that you're installing.
That's where they connect their hose to. So we had to get all the air out so the water would go right there.
There's quite a lot of mention of getting to the ground, get all the air out so the water will go there, running from the fire, the 4 elements. He's talking about running down to the cellar or root, as in the root chakra or the base of the spine where the Kundalini rests, or the subconscious to get out. The air has to get out of the pipes so the water can flow. You have to clear the pipes so the cerebral spinal fluid can flow, and it sounds as if he's referring to going down to get out, as I showed in my Poseidon Adventure Decode on my website.
And then as we're doing that, I just felt the loudest sound in my entire life, and the ceiling, the walls, the ground, everything started shaking. I didn't know there was the crane yet. I didn't know whether the crane hit into the building or whatever, but it felt like an earthquake.
Another mention of feeling like an earthquake.
And now I just want to bring you 2 over here so that I can let people see your faces, because it's just incredible, this tale that you're telling me.
He's telling a tale, a story, a fable. Does that mean this isn't true? She also says, let me see your faces. There's 2 faces, one black, one white, the 2 faces of Janus. Janus is the portal out of here. It's Uranus, black and white.
You had to have thought the absolute worst case scenario when this 16-ton piece of concrete let loose, along with the boom, which had already sliced into the residential building across the street.
Chaotic in our building, we didn't even know none of that happened. We didn't know what was happening outside the building, because in the steps is, like a small space. So it's just so chaotic. When we got out, then we got to stage 2, the outside chaos.
From stage 1, the internal, to stage 2, the outside chaos, as within, so without, and stage or gate.
But the inside chaos was so crazy.
Did you even know where should I run to be safe?
Down the steps. That's all I thought. No elevator, I'm going down the steps.
He's not going to take an elevator. He's going to go down the steps. Elevator is ascension.
No hesitation.
And were there calls that were made? Did you pick up your cell phone and think, I got to talk to my family?
As soon as I got to the bottom, I called my wife immediately.
And you said?
I'm out the building. Because I know this was on the news, this was everywhere, so your phone gonna start ringing, total chaos. I just let her know I'm out the building, let me deal with the evacuation process, head count, and I'll call you right back. I just wanted to let her know I'm alive, I'm breathing, and I'm okay. Emergency. My name is Calvin Chapman.
Calvin Chapman is CC33 Christ Consciousness.
But truly, this is a day of miracles that we're not hearing even worse than this.
Miracle is mirror clue, but it's also divine intervention. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, please show your support, like, share, comment, subscribe, and contribute. Contributions over $30 will gain access to additional bonus material as a token of my appreciation, so please be sure to include your email address. Check out my website, join the Discord group, shop in my store. All links are in the description box below. Thanks for watching. Hope you're having a great day. Bye for now.